So I think a lot of what we were thinking about this memory for the user. There's also a memory for the AI that's not necessarily in the model itself. There's an application memory or agent memory layer that we say, okay, these are things you have been doing, you probably shouldn't be doing in the future. And these are things from a user standpoint. How do this stuff align?
Welcome to GenAI Talks.
When we live in a world today when sci-fi is made real, we have agents now that we could talk to. Apparently that was something from the movie The Matrix, but now it's real. We have different technologies that can solve technical problems that were unheard of years ago. But one problem that's so interesting to really unpack is the problem of empathy. And today I have someone who's working on a platform and working in a company that's really pushing what's possible in the world of empathetic AI. Let's talk about it a little bit. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah. So I'm Lei Pan. I work at Inflection AI. The company started with emotional intelligence being what is the next step of AI rather than just like IQ or information intelligence. There's lots of foundational models, open weights, open source, closed source models that are extremely smart, but sometimes pretty robotic, don't really understand how to interact with human systems. If I were someone who's actually working with AI every day or working with using agents every day, and I want that agent to actually understand AI as a user, as a person. And something that's robotic, it's difficult to trust. And that's the problem we're working to solve.
Can you break down a little bit, like, what does empathy mean in the context of AI?
And that's to actually break that down maybe into like three different things. We're talking about safety. I want a system that's safe to use, safe for me, safe for my use cases, right? So a system that, doesn't make the wrong decisions. It doesn't promote the wrong behavior, knowing who I am, how I interact, what my frustration levels could be at any given time. I think that's important. Secondly is if I'm in an enterprise context, I want to just say, how do I extend that safety to both, to not only to compliance? Number one is, let's say I work at a bank. It's a banking system for customer service. It has to be compliant for all the banking regulations. So how do we take safety and extend it to something that's somewhat official, which is compliance? And then going from there to empathetic. So what is empathy there is for that particular use case is to understand, okay, what is the tone of AI needs to have? Who does even AI identify as? And then how does he actually understand me as a user over time? I think all three of those things are like critical to actually solve the empathy problem. And then almost all of it have to work together to do that.
Can you share a little bit about the role of memory in identity and how that really defines the ability to be able to be actually empathetic?
Understand intent. And then for us, we spend a lot of time thinking about what is intent mean for a user? And then how does that intent change and what triggered that change in intent? Right? Because the fact we measure every interaction, we can say, to the best of our ability, what you're intending to do today or right now, right? Like for this conversation, and potentially next time you want to do something else. And is that something else you want to do relevant to your preferences? Is it a positive change from an emotional state? And if it's something that AI did that triggered some negative, shift in your emotions or negative shift in your intent, then that's something that gets captured and we build that into the overall understanding. So I think a lot of what we were thinking about this memory for the user, there's also a memory for the AI that's not necessarily in the model itself. There's an application memory or agent memory layer that we say, okay, these are things you have been doing, you probably shouldn't be doing in the future. And these are things from a user standpoint. How do this stuff align? And I think that's a lot of things we think about.
Can you share a little bit like what goes into how you decide what stays, what goes? How do you manage context? And do you think maybe the market's plan is just we're just going to get so many tokens where it won't matter anymore? Yeah. Maybe unpack there for people that sit there home and wonder, what's going on with context management?
right? Prompt is, okay, here's a bunch of stuff you give to the model, and context is, here's a bunch of stuff you give to the model. My understanding, the AI system's understanding of you as a user is really critical to the context management, right? Like to say, how can you classify memory in a way that is actually truly relevant to the intent you have at that point of interaction with AI? The most critical piece is the valid understanding of your interaction at that point of interaction, and the adjustment not only of what's actually in the context, what I true out of the memory. One of the things we do is we dynamically build a system prompt, not just what's based on sort of what not what's in the memory, but also to say, you know what, the user's super unhappy right now.
You show like how are people acting and interacting with AI today? Are people truly humanizing these tools? Or they find them to be more like, I always say, you're not just going to work with these tools. You're going to be your next colleague. You're going to be a team of agents and people.
Right.
Is that happening in real time? What are you seeing?
People are not ready to like fully adopt agents. Right? Like they may have built agents through some kind of RAG on top of ChatGPT, but they don't really know how their agents is performing. So that there's a sense of suspicion about like how accurate it is, right? It's very good at doing like 75% of the stuff. Maybe could get to like 90% accuracy with a lot of work, or 80% accuracy. But for certain energies, that's not good. Right? You have to get so. And a lot of them don't really know why it doesn't. Before you fully adopt Inflection as a platform, why don't you take a look at how your existing agent's performing today by us giving you visibility into how well it's performed. How's the user interacting from an emotional perspective? How is the AI responding? And does it even align with what you want your agent to do? We have the 3-prompt or 3-stage adoption cycle, right? First is to observe. Second is we recommend, right? Here are a set of changes. Here's the insights we obtained. Here are some changes you can make in your agent that could make it better. And third is you take action. We take action for you. And even those action taken stuff is in various degrees. And especially during action, we focus heavily on experimentation. So I feel like taking that sort of the crawl, walk, run phasing, I think helps with getting people more comfortable with the product.
What's something that maybe you see as like the future big bet that most people might not see coming?
I would love to see where AI models, like what we have right now, language models are very focused on language. Even with, let's say, a human interaction built in. So let's say he learns how to understand human better than it does today. I think by 2030, I'd love to see a set of models, so basically an AI system that kind of really understands not only, textual interactions and voice and video, humans, but also like just kind of the overall physical world, understand sort of the time constraints, what's available, understand the resource constraints, what's available in the world, like, take into some aspect of the whole thing and see it in action. And if I can see that, I think I'll feel pretty confident. I'll feel more confident of us moving towards what we think AGI will be.
How can people stay in tune with you and what you're doing with your company?
Inflection AI, I work on many number of things. Chief data officer, write a lot of code. Everybody writes a lot of code these days. They're very, challenging all of the kind of management structure of people just manage for management's sake. And so find me at Lee at Inflection, find me on LinkedIn.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a hell of a conversation. This is just the beginning, right? We got plenty more to come in the future.
Wow, I hope so.
Hey, see you soon.
All right,
what an honor.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Here.
Big ideas, real tools, bold moves. That's what GenAI Talks is all about. Don't miss what's next. Subscribe and explore more in our GenAI community.